Day 4 of the Cannonball, 372 miles from Los Alamos, New Mexico to Guymon, Oklahoma. Day 4 is longer in distance but shorter in time, 372 miles. And if you watch Day 3, you know what to do. You get on your app, you check into where you are. We're starting off the Comfort Suites, taking a picture, check in, we're all legit now. Capella de Santo Domingo Church is next 38 minutes away, and we're off at first thing in the morning, and it is bitterly cold. Oh my goodness. Los Alamos, New Mexico, first thing in the morning is freezing. It was still pretty, and I had to pull over a couple of times. I had to get some extra warm headgear, and I had to wear double gloves. I was wearing double everything, and I was still freezing. If you watch Day 3, you know the drill. You get to where you are, you take a picture, you log it in, you're all legit. Now see where else you need to be. Alpine Lumber Company, the Octave Abandoned Building, and the Florsheim Printing Company. Let's get on with it. To hit all these three is going to take over 3.5 hours, and there's a checkpoint that we can't miss. But first, I got to deal with going over the Sangre de Cristo Mountain for 1 hour and 47 minutes, and it did not get warmer. It was still freezing as the day went on. As we came down the mountain, it got a tad warmer, but it was still pretty cold. Let's not forget, it's the tail end of June, and it's still freezing in New Mexico. Still, check out this beautiful ride. 1 hour and 47 minute ride on the Cannonball is not a long ride, but when you're riding in the freezing cold, it feels like a dang long ride. I cannot wait to get to the next bonus point, the Alpine Lumber Company. Finally, we're here at the Alpine Lumber Company. I'm going to get off my bike, warm my hands, and get ready for the checkpoint, the Octave Abandoned Building. The Octave Abandoned Building is only 46 minutes away, but we have to go through dirt track. And you know the rules. You miss a checkpoint, you get a did not finish. You are out. The Cannonball has it all. It has dirt tracks, it's got steep mountains, it's got switchbacks, it's got riding in the desert for hours in ridiculous heat, and ridiculous cold of Los Alamos. It has it all. You gotta be a really good rider to know what you're doing on something like this. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Off the dirt road, and now miles and 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 miles of flat road. Checkpoints! Finally! It took forever. What next? Florsheim Printing Company. Let's go. 58 minutes. Back to miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of flatness. And finding things to do. When preparing for a ride like this, you kind of pack light, but at the same time, you want to double up on some things. For me, I doubled up on my GoPros. And for me, both of my GoPros crapped out. So I was left to holding the camera the rest of the time. My phone camera the rest of the time. I thought we'd come down the mountain and it was flatlands all the way, but I was mistaken. We were still up in high elevation. Still, absolutely gorgeous riding. Having the time of my life. Just check this ride out. Beautiful, windy curves. Loving each and every single moment. And we're back to miles and miles and miles and miles and miles and miles of flatland. A part of the challenge of riding for miles and miles and miles of flatland is keeping your mind busy, keeping your mind occupied. You've gone through your playlist, you've gone through your podcasts, now you just gotta stay focused. And if you're not focused, you could get sloppy. And if you get sloppy, bad things could happen. You don't want that. Finally, get to Florsheim Printing Company. Didn't have to gas up. What do we got? 3 checkpoints in a row. Yates Abandoned Ranch, Felt Grain Elevators, and finally the Hampton Inn and Suites at Guymon. It's been a long day already. We still got more than 3 hours left to ride. And these 3 next stops are checkpoints that you cannot miss at all. Let's get back to miles and miles and miles of riding. Still, you gotta stay focused the entire time. Half an hour from the Florsheim Printing Company, we're here at a checkpoint. We're here at the Yates Abandoned Ranch. The next checkpoint is the Felt Grain Elevators, only an hour and 15 minutes away. But an hour and 15 minutes away through Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the toughest state for me. Not because of the weather conditions, not because it was treacherous, not because of the dirt track, not because of any switchbacks or anything like that. It was the toughest state because it was just so mentally taxing. There was nothing to see. There was just this one long road that went on forever, and the horizon just kept, it just never got closer. It was so windy, and there was nothing to see. Nothing to the left, nothing to the right. It was just farmlands 360 all around as far as the eye could see, and this road was just the straightest road I have ever been on that went on forever. This was a mentally taxing way to end the day. Last checkpoint of the day before the hotel is the Felt Grain Elevators. An hour and 19 going through Oklahoma. And we jump back on the world's longest, straightest, flattest road. And now we're starting to heat up. We start the day at 4 Celsius, 39 Fahrenheit, and now we're around high 30s, 38, 100 degrees. The swing of the temperature was outrageous today. We go from super cold to now hot, and finally we reach our destination, the Hampton Inn Suites, and I'm checking in with the organizers to make sure that my card is legit. You gotta love Oklahoma. Join me next time for day 5, where we do 468 miles, where we go from Guymon to Miami, Oklahoma.
I've been telling you guys for weeks.